Fox News alert, we are just getting word, you heard it right here, that the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights is filing new subpoenas. It will issue new subpoenas in a case involving alleged voter intimidation by the new Black Panthers. That news coming on the same day that DOJ whistleblower J. Christian Adams testified in front of that commission about the new Black Panthers case and about what he claims are alleged discriminatory practices ongoing right now inside the DOJ. Adams accusing the Justice Department of not pursuing a voter intimidation case against these two members of the new Black Panther Party and others following an incident on Election Day 2008, when these folks affiliated with the new Black Panthers were spotted outside of a polling place in Philadelphia, one of them carrying a billy club. Both of them alleged to have shouted racially incendiary remarks, among other threatening comments. Here's a bit of what J. Christian Adams testified to today.
This is an issue near and dear to my heart. Rule 11, any lawyer knows, is an ethical obligation to only sign a complaint or a pleading that can be supported by the facts or the law. It's one of the first things you learn in law school. And most lawyers, in my experience, and all lawyers, in my experience of the department, take it very, very, very seriously. It's one of the most important parts of the whole rules of civil procedure, in my view. When I heard the testimony that Rule 11 would not support going forward in this case, my blood boiled, because I've never done anything like that in my life and never will. And for someone to assert that a pleading we signed in something this important could not be ethically supported was a very low moment, and it is false.
Has anybody, at any time during your time at the department, with regard to the Black Panther case, ever to your face accused you or any other member of the trial team that you're aware of having violated Rule 11?
Of course not. And there's so many procedures in place. For example, if Rule 11 was at risk, why isn't there an OPR investigation of Christian Adams and Christopher Coates and Robert Popper? There's an OPR investigation of somebody else, but it's not us. If there's a Rule 11 violation here, then bring it on, because we didn't do anything wrong.
One of the things that you have mentioned in the two articles that you wrote immediately, or last week or so, one with the Washington Times and then Pajamas Media, you mentioned an incident where the remedial memo or other memos were thrown at Stephen Rosenbaum by Chris Coates. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I could. Again, I hardly consider profanity and assaults to be, and I'm using the term assault in the lightest of terms, it's a piece of paper, could be considered deliberate process. It's kind of a lack of deliberation. Mr. Rosenbaum told Mr. Coates, and I'm sure Mr. Coates would testify under oath if he were able to comply with the subpoena, that he hadn't even read these memos.
He, Rosenbaum?
That's correct, before he began to argue against this case. And Coates was so outraged, he said, "That's bull. How dare you? That's bull." And Coates threw the memo at him and said, "You can't do that."
Chris Coates, who J. Christian Adams describes as a voting rights giant when it comes to the field of law, a man who, according to Adams, also protested the dropping of this case after it had been won, and then, according to Adams, was promptly shifted out of the Attorney General's office and down to, I think it's the state of South Carolina, to pursue matters having nothing to do with voting rights. Well, Adams is also accusing some folks at the Justice Department of not being familiar, not just with the legal briefs in this case, but with the new Black Panther Party itself. We've got some more on that party from Rowan Trace Gallagher, who's been investigating. He's live in our West Coast newsroom. Hey, TG.
We just came across some video, Megan. We cannot show it to you, but it is very inflammatory. It shows a man named Samir Shabazz. He is the same man, by the way, who was at that polling place that Rick Leventhal came across in Philadelphia. That man right there. His real name is Maurice Heath. He is the head of the Philadelphia chapter of the new Black Panther Party. And on the videotape, it shows him saying that he hates white people and that white babies should be killed. Now, keep in mind, the new Black Panther Party is not the successor to the Black Panther Party. In fact, the original members have denounced the new Black Panther Party. They have also filed a number of lawsuits. The new Black Panther Party was founded in Dallas back in 1989. It is well known for a few things. One, for promoting a 9/11 conspiracy theory, saying that Israelis who worked at the World Trade Center were warned by the Israeli government to take the day off on 9/11. And of course, we all remember the new Black Panther Party getting heavily involved in the Duke lacrosse scandal, where they said the players should be convicted. Of course, as we all remember, those players were all acquitted. Now, a number of civil rights groups call the new Black Panther Party anti-Semitic. They call them a hate group. The new Black Panther Party, a number of videos of them surfacing online, very inflammatory, calling again for the death of white people, the death of white children. They are not associated in any way, shape, or form with the original Black Panther Party from the 60s and 70s, Megan.
All right, Trace Gallagher. Thank you, Trace. Folks, what do you think? Is the new Black Panther Party, and is this case worth a second look? You can log on to foxnews.com, click on the You Decide link on our homepage to weigh in on that, and you can see how other people are voting as well.